has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
So thank God I got a double shot with him because he's got so much to tell me about hoops that I can't even keep track of it. Like he was just speaking Chinese to me. It's Coach James Young from Betting Above the Rim, and you get him on Pro Basketball Today. He's everywhere. He's on C2Cs across the board on the grid. He's above the rack. I know that. First of all, what are you talking about, Houston? What happened?
Oh, Ferrall. Listen. People don't notice, but I'm also a basketball skills trainer. I happen to have one of the best class of 2026 stretch fours, a kid named Sophie Smith out of New Jersey. And homegirl done blew up at the Nike EYBLs down in Houston this past weekend. So shout out to my girl, Sophie Smith. Hopefully,
What'd she do?
She just dropped 18 and 16 back-to-back in the EYBL. You drop numbers like that in the Nike Girls EYBL, where games barely get to 50, 60 points. That's saying something. So hopefully her recruiting takes off. So, obviously besides me being an analyst here, my other thing is I do a lot of skills training. In fact, I'm so supposed to train Chop. Like what?
I know, like what's the problem? Like, I mean, you're so busy with all these D1 stars. You forgot about the Suey.
No.
Suey.
I never forget about my girl Chop.
Oh, and by the way, her coach is out.
What? Folks, I'm sorry, folks. Do you need me to go into the negotiations right now to become the new coach over at the high school?
Yes.
I mean, if you give me a teaching job, I'll move to North Jersey right now.
I think they're giving that Jasper girl the job that won a title with him over at Valley. I remember, that guy. I think his girl is the assistant. I think she's going to be the one, but I think that's how they roll. But I'd rather have you. I think that would be fantastic. You know what? So she stopped, loving basketball because of playing the last 3 years for this chick. And I'm just telling the truth. Like you know me, I have no feelings. I'm not nice. I never said a word to the woman. I was always nice to her. I don't get involved in coaching my kid in high school basketball. I just sit there and watch suffer. I had more fun on the operating table in ICU having a heart surgery than I did watching my daughter play high school basketball. In fact, I'd rather be dead than watch that team play. You know what I used to call them? I can't even say it on the air. The names are so mean. Coach knows what I call that team, the way they play basketball. I can't even say it. I'll get fired. So anyway, she retired or something. And she's gone. And now all of a sudden, Chop's ready to play ball. She's excited to play ball again. And she wants to play ball again. And she's been reignited. All right, I want to ask you this. The Knicks history, 99, they beat them. But they've never beaten them since. 99. Was Mafia even alive in 99? I don't even know. 99, that's the last time the Knicks beat the Pacers.
Well, listen, they have a long tradition of a history of playing each other. They've played each other, I do believe, 6 times in the playoffs, with each team winning 3 each. We can start back, Ferrall, 1992, the John Starks headbutting Reggie Miller, and watching Ewing and
Oakley. They played him 8 times.
8 times. But I remember going back from 92, obviously 94, winning at home Game 7, the missed layup in 95 by Ewing. Then they beat them in 1990.
The missed layup off the back of the heel of the rim and a game winner right down Main Street.
Right down Main Street. 99, Ewing tears, has the Achilles. Larry Johnson 4-point play. They win. Pacers get them back in 2000. And then the last time that we thought the Knicks were really this good is, remember, Roy Hibbert had that big block of Carmelo. They beat the Knicks in 6 games, even though Woody had a great season. So this is a rivalry. This has gone back since the early 90s. Indiana don't like the Knicks. The Knicks don't like Indiana. Our guy Preston Pacer, he's a friend. No, he's not. Next 2 weeks, not talking to the guy. You're a Knicks fan. You're not talking to him either. This is the way we roll now. We hate him. But this is big here because The best part about this whole Final Four of the NBA is this. You have 4 teams. One team hasn't won it in 52 years, right? A second team in Indiana who's never won it, only been to 1 NBA Finals. You have a third team in Oklahoma City, never won it, only been to 1 NBA Final. And then you have Minnesota, who's never been to the NBA Finals. So there's going to be a new era of basketball here, hopefully starting with these 4 teams.
I mean, I just said earlier that the Game 6 was better than sex for me. Like, honestly, I was in euphoria. Like, I have never seen a better Knick game in my entire life.
And here's the thing: like, people are sitting there knocking, including our buddy Matt Perrault. Oh, you're gonna celebrate a second round win? Like, that's like when the Red Sox came back and beat the Yankees, and you were crying and we didn't cry as Knicks fans. We just are excited at what's happening with our team. It's the best chance we've had since the 90s. Can they finish it off? I don't know, but we're going to enjoy it. But I will tell you this right now.
Screw him. I love him. He's a great guy, and I'm friends with him, and I think the world of him, and screw him. I mean, honestly, he's another one, a Bostonian. Like, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
I love the guy. Screw you, too. I don't
I'll tell you this much.
Shut up.
I'll tell you this much. You saw what it was on 7th Avenue, right? On after the win Friday. I will tell you this. If the Knicks happen to win the title, they're going to have to bring like the armed forces. Like, you people have no idea. That may not be enough. Army Rangers, Green Beret, bring them all. The New York City cops and the National Guard could not contain that place if the Knicks won the title. That's how big it is, because listen,
Frank was there. Like, he was naked and drunk. People they were pouring liquor on him, setting him on fire like tequila. He was on fire.
That's a story. That's a story that you can talk about. I'm not going in there, especially the naked part. But I think the thing that people understand is this: when you think about New York City, like, it's half Mets, half Yankees, right? It's a little bit more Giants than Jets. It's a Knick town. Screw the Nets. It's a Knick town. It's always been a Knick town. So when the Knicks win, that's like Boston
the Nets
winning.
Didn't even matter when they were in the finals. No one cared.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you right now. I think I could sat on the bench in the old Izod Center, Brendan Byrne Arena, when they were playing in the finals.
Airlines. It had so many names. I lost track.
Yeah, well, they need to bulldoze that thing and turn it into a parking lot. They were pretty good, though,
with Insanity and Jay Kitson.
They're pretty good. I like it.
Pretty good team. So, do you think that they can beat the Pacers? Because I think the Pacers are certainly deeper. They're 12 deep, and I think the Knicks are a 7-player team.
Well, I think Tips is going to have to go to his bench a little bit more. You could see a little bit more Precious Achiuwa in spots. You may see Larry Shamet in spots, but to me,
never played him 1 minute.
Well, he may have to. Listen, if you're talking about the top 5 versus 5, the Knicks got him crushed. It's about the second unit. But here's the problem with Indiana: is one of the guys coming off the bench is Mitchell Robinson, and he has been a pain in the ass in the playoffs. And he is someone that Indiana doesn't want no smoke. People keep knocking the Knicks, saying they didn't beat Oklahoma City, they didn't beat Boston, they didn't beat Cleveland. Remember, all those games, only one game in the regular season was Mitchell Robinson there. That was a 119-117 loss in Boston. So I'm telling you right now, Mitchell Robinson, he may not score more than 3-4 points. His impact on the old boards, extra possessions, blocking shots, rim protection is way beyond what people think.
Yeah, so I had 10 rebounds in a game the other day, and my teammate told me, because I don't get back, my 10 rebounds mean nothing. I said, so you don't want me to rebound tonight? We got 2 games. I go, so tonight you just don't want me to rebound? You don't want me to get any rebounds? That's like telling me Steven Adams sucks. What's he won the offensive rebounding title like 30 years in a row? The rebounding doesn't matter. Tell Dennis Rodman that in the Hall of Fame, you moron.
still underdogs at home, on the road, and all of these games. It's time for people to start understanding it's a legitimate team that has a chance not only to win the series against Cleveland, but also maybe even go all the way to the NBA Finals.
I think a lot of the focus has been on why the Cavs have not played particularly well. A lot of that is due to injury, of course, but I think that's taking too much credit away from what the Pacers have done.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
That's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times, but screw the Celtics.
Ferrall coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
We're talking to Coach James Young, a double shot today. Per usual, we like talking rack. He's the best at it, so we figure always do two and just get it over with because it's badass every time he comes on. So, so I've been on the T-Wolves to go to the finals for a month. And this is, before the first round started, the whole deal. I'm like, this team is dangerous. I also was on the Pacers. Carver High is my witness. You is my witness. I've talked about the Pacers for 3 months, that you don't want to play them in the playoffs. They're a playoff-built team. They are built to win in the playoffs, and that's what they're doing. We talked about them. Now let's talk about the Timberwolves' chances against that defense. Now, I have liked the Timberwolves, and I am scared to death against Oak City's defense. I don't care how much I like the T-Wolves. They're going to run into a problem here.
Yeah, they are. And listen, I was like you. I liked it. When I saw the draw, I loved the Timberwolves to go to the Western Conference Finals because I just thought that the Lakers and Golden State were incredibly overrated. And I also thought that the size of Big Rudy, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, and Naz Reid was going to be too much. Well, guess what? They're running to a team that's just as big with Hartenstein, with Chet Holmgren, right? With the toughness of Lou Dort. Alex Caruso basically took Nikola Jokic out of the game yesterday. Think about that. At 6'3", took him out. So to me, this is where the problem starts with Minnesota. OKC is way too deep. And here's the thing. OKC, besides game 2, Ferrall, did not play well in this series until that 15-2 run at the end of the second quarter with Jalen Williams, who finally woke up out of his nap after playing great in game 3 and didn't give you anything 4, 5, 6, was absolutely fantastic, scoring 11 out of those 15 points. And at that point, Denver looked around and he said, we don't got that next gear. And yes, Aaron Gordon hurt. Yes, Jamal Murray, illness. Yes, Michael Porter Jr. hurt. I don't care if all 3 of them were fine. The way that team turned that switch in game 7, that's Oklahoma City that we saw. And I think that Minnesota is going to struggle in this series. I think OKC's woken up. This may be crazy what I'm about to say. I think the OKC Thunder beat them, and they beat them in 5.
Yeah, I said earlier that they're they're a true number one. They beat everyone's ass all year, and then when it mattered most, I mean, look what they did in the first round. And then when it mattered in this game, they beat their ass. When they want to play, they can beat anyone's ass in the league. I mean, at this point, like, seriously, you can't favor the Knicks or the Pacers over that team.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I would say that whoever got to the finals, I think OKC would be at least a -250 favorite to win the finals, no matter who came out of there, because of the dominance they've had, and they've been the best team during the regular season. Now, playoffs are playoffs; things are different, but OKC, I firmly expect to get there. The Knicks Pacers series is going to be tough. I have the Knicks in 7. I think they exact revenge if they can stay healthy. I think they have the best player on the floor, the best closer on the floor in Jalen Brunson. I think having Mitchell Robinson this year will help. I think OG being healthy helps. I think Mikal Bridges being there helps, because I think Bridges goes to Halliburton, which his length should give Halliburton problems, because Halliburton's really not much of a burner to get by him. And I think OG can go to Siakam. So I think the Knicks in 7 in a really good series.
So should they give Shai Gilgeous the MVP, like, at some point tonight or something?
I don't know what they're waiting for. They played with fire, Ferrall. I mean, unless the Illuminati told them they knew that they were going to win the game, I thought they should have given it out like earlier in this series versus Denver. So they're playing with fire here, but hopefully game 1, game 2, SGA should get his MVP award.
So listen, I watched like everyone else, the over exaggeration of that Clark foul on Reese. I mean, that's just a normal everyday play. Someone going in for a layup and you chop down on the ball to stop the layup. That's a normal foul, and it turned into like a 3-day circus.
Well, yeah, it turned into a 3-day circus because of the overreaction of Angel Reese, but the bigger thing is the overreaction by everyone on the media, both sides, black, white, liberal, conservative. And here's what's great about it. You know who's loving this right now? The WNBA, because the foul happened on Saturday, and it's Monday, and we're still talking about it.
It was a terrible game, though. They beat their ass.
I said this going when I did the betting above the rim pro basketball today with Tom Vecchio and Kevin Walsh on Saturday. I love the Indiana Fever minus the points. People are talking about Caitlin Clark, absolutely phenomenal triple-double. But, getting DeWanna Bonner, who just moved to 3rd place all-time in scoring, getting Natasha Howard, having Sophie Cunningham, retaining Kelsey Mitchell, having Aaliyah Boston, and then getting Stephanie White on the bench, they are loaded. Chicago is one of the 3 worst teams in the league. Kennedy Carter can't get a job. She was the leading scorer. Second leading scorer, Marina Maybury, she got traded. The 4th leading scorer left. They don't have anything there. Their win total was 13 last year, and they're worse, and it's 18.5? That's BS. They're going to be way under. One of the worst teams in the league is Chicago Sky.
All right, what is your play for tonight? You've got a couple of big plays that you're doing in the W?
Yeah, one game tonight, Seattle on the road at the Dallas Wings. I am going to take the Seattle Storm minus the points. Listen, I know they lost 81-59 opening night. They're going to be much better. You're looking at Skylar Diggins, Awumake, obviously, other players, Megaber. They're going to do their thing. Dallas is going to struggle, although I love Paige Beckers. My best bet of the night, let's go at Onyeka Awumake to record a double-double at plus 150. If you look at Onyeka, she only had 7 rebounds in about 23 minutes or so. She should have an uptick in minutes. She is a rebounding machine. I'm not going to Megaber because I think Megaber may lose out on rebounds because she has Gabby Williams that backs her up. Awumake gets a double-double, and we're going minus a point for the Seattle Storm on the road tonight.
There's a reason they got Beckers, right? Because they stink.
Yeah, they're absolutely terrible. And they tried to get everyone under the sun to try and take that job from the college ranks. I know that for a fact, and nobody wanted it.
Congrats on your girl with a big weekend in Houston. I'll see you soon, Coach. Always a pleasure. Go to opening day at the Beach Club.
still underdogs at home, on the road, and all of these games. It's time for people to start understanding a legitimate team that has a chance not only to win the series against Cleveland, but also maybe even go all the way to the NBA Finals.
I think a lot of the focus has been on why the Cavs have not played particularly well. A lot of that is due to injury, of course, but I think that's taking too much credit away from what the Pacers have done.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
That's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times, but screw the Celtics.
Ferrall Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Liverpool up 2-1 on Brighton Hove about the 66th minute, and I'm watching Finland and Canada tied at ones with 5.5 minutes left in Sweden in that World Championship game. It's a really good one. The Flower in goal for the Canadian team. They were up 1-0, but the Finns tied them, and it's getting stressful late. All right, Carver High. Knicks and Pacers will start it up Wednesday midweek.
They will start it up Wednesday midweek. Of course, game one will be at the Garden. Why don't we start by hearing from Tom Thibodeau? Of course, the Knicks played the Pacers last year in the second round, which they ended up losing. Here's Tibbs on the matchup.
Tom, any early thoughts on Indiana and the problems that they pose and how they play and just the matchup in general?
And again, style of play, and they're an excellent basketball team, strong on both sides of the ball. Their ability to push the ball, so defensive transition. But when you look at their guard play, particularly with Halliburton, Nembhard, and McConnell, and they can push and they can break you down off the dribble. So you got to be very disciplined in your approach. They can spread you out. Siakam and Turner are very talented bigs. So we understand what the challenge is.
Listen, they really do press. They really run. They're physical guards. All of them are in your face with the chest, the body. They're bangers. Their bigs can shoot. Turner can shoot threes at will, ad nauseum, and knock them down. He shoots the three ball way better than Cat Towns. He really does. He's dangerous. And I'm telling you, they got their hands full with this team. They're a problem. They're faster. They run. They're a running, gunning team. They really move the ball and get up and down the court. They play defense in your face on the perimeter. It's not going to be easy for Brunson, Hart, or McBride, or Payne, or anybody on that perimeter. And they guard it. They got the Iron Dome out. I mean, they're serious. I mean, look, they beat them last year. Now, I know the team's a little different, and I also know that the Knicks were injured last year in that series. They had serious problems health-wise. But it is what it is. Last year they had injuries and they lost. Yesterday, Gordon had an injury and they lost. The Celtics had Tatum injury, Achilles, and they lost. These teams come into this healthy. And so now it's just straight up who's better. And I think the Pacers are a problem for the Knicks because of all the things I just said and their depth. They're 12 deep. They play 12 guys. The Knicks only play 7. Mike said it best. They were up 40 and they wouldn't put anyone in. They wouldn't put in Kolek. They wouldn't put in Shamet. They just don't play anyone besides the 7 that he plays. And it could come back to haunt him. I want the Knicks to win desperately. I'm dying for the Knicks to win a championship. Believe me. I still think, I really do. I hate to say this. I'm totally for the Knicks. I think the Pacers are better.
Well, the Knicks are the favorite before the series starts. Slight favorite, minus 146, plus $1.24 for the Pacers, as they will get going on Wednesday night. As far as Game 1 goes at the Garden, Knicks are laying 4 in that Game 1 Wednesday night at the Garden.
Yeah, like I'm on the Pacers with the 4 points. They are not afraid of the Knicks. They've won at the Garden 1,000,000 times. They always play well. They play better against the New York Knicks than any team in the league. The one team that has success in the Garden and in history always has been the Indiana Pacers. And that they are just licking their chops to go in there and steal Game 1 and Game 2. Like that's their plan. They have no plans on going home down, even or down 2. That's just not in the cards for them. The Knicks will have their hands full Wednesday night, as sure as I'm sitting here. Everyone thinks the Knicks have won the title already in New York. Everybody's dancing in the street. Frank's still drunk. He's still drunk from the other night. He reeks of alcohol. And he thinks that the series is already over. He wants more booze. He wants me to set him on fire. He just said that in my ear. Set me on fire. Pour tequila on me and set me on fire. He said he's like a campground.
Frank likes to get excited. He's into it. He's into the Knick run. Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and that's long rehab. You're talking
that's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it 1,000,000 times. But screw the Celtics.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round pick.
There were 2 perfectly rated quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
right, wait a minute. As we turn the corner and head for home, who would you play in the Olympics? What are you saying you're going to do here?
Well, you were watching the Canada game, obviously at the World Championships. And Crosby's playing with McKinnon and doing all that. So, and Luke made the comment that he thinks the United States are going to beat Canada next year for the gold in the Olympics. And he was talking about the goalie situation. United States obviously played Hellebuck at that Four Nations a couple months ago, and he was their main guy. And we just saw Hellebuck heads up with Jake Ottinger from the Dallas Stars.
Fail.
And I agree with Luke. I would play Ottinger. If the Olympics were tomorrow, United States hockey team, I think Ottinger should be the whole. He won't be because Hellebuck, they love Hellebuck, and he's won Vezinas and done all that, but Ottinger is, I think, a bigger game goalie than Connor Hellebuck is. I'd play Ottinger. And in a couple of weeks, he might win a cup. Too.
Yeah, he might win a cup, and then the other guy's going to get the Vezina. And some people actually think he should get the Hart Trophy, and I think those people are also drunk and should be set on fire at the Knicks party.
I agree with that as well. Before I move on to the hockey, I just wanted to give you this. With 4 teams left, this is what the big board looks like in terms of who's going to win the NBA title. So the Thunder are minus 180. I've got them at right at this moment to win the NBA title. The Knicks are the second choice at plus 490. The T-Wolves at 6-1. And then the Pacers are the fourth and final choice at 8-1 to win the NBA championship as we start the Final Four.
Well, what it says to me is that if the Pacers, beat the Knicks, it's an upset because the Knicks are certainly home court and favored, and everyone thinks they're going to win. But if the Pacers win, I still think they're going to get their ass beat by the Thunder. So they'll go, but they'll lose. So no one respects the Pacers at all from what you're telling me, the odds that you just gave me. So they have no chance whatsoever. And if they beat the Knicks, I think they're going to get beat. But, I'm on the Knicks. In terms of love affair, I'm a huge Knicks fan. I want them to win. And I'm desperate for them to win. And I'll suffer through it. Just like I suffered through the Boston series. I couldn't believe how they destroyed them in that Game 6. I really couldn't. I never saw that coming. And then now they got to beat this team that's been a pain in their ass since before Christ. Okay, so get ready. It is going to be a nightmare with the Pacers. I guarantee it. And if the Knicks kick the Pacers' ass in 4 or 5 games, I will keel over because that's not happening. They give them fits every time they play them. Now people say, well, we beat them 2-1 in the regular season. The regular season matters about as much as my U-Hoops team and those league games I play in and I talk about on here that nobody cares about. No one cares about NBA regular season games. If you go 4-0 against the team, the Celtics were 4-0 against the Knicks. What good did that do the Celtics in the semi? What good did it do them? The regular season means nothing. The 2-1 edge, that means nothing. All I know is they played them in the playoffs 8 times, and they've lost 5 of them. I mean, what more do you want to know? 3 of the last 4, they beat them. They beat them last year. It's just an ongoing kryptonite. It's a nightmare. So I think the Thunder, I hate to say it, but I think the Thunder are to play. And that's why that number is what it is. They don't want to give, they just don't want to pay. They're not going to pay for that team winning because they're going to win. Because they're going to win.
Yeah. I'm sticking with mini over the Knicks. That's what I'm going with. Minnesota to beat the Knicks.
I'd love to see it.
That's where I'll be. And there's 3 other things that's going to be painful over the next few weeks in terms of the Knicks series. And that's the television aspect of it. Get ready to hear 6,000 times. It's the last games on TNT. You're never going to stop hearing about that because this is it. Get used to Reggie. Reggie's doing every game.
Reggie Miller, the Knick killer.
Every single game during the Knick Pacer series. And then I just saw.
That shouldn't even be allowed. He's such a homer for them.
Right. Him and Harlan are doing the games, all the games. And then the cherry on top I just saw for the television is there's somebody joining Shaq and Kenny and Charles at the desk now that his season's over.
Oh, that is Dre.
Draymond Green gonna be on the desk with.
Yes, you can't get enough of his wise ass, know-it-all ass, painful ass. I'll tell you what. I don't know what's worse, him or Reggie Miller. Now listen, Reggie Miller is literally knobbing the Pacers for the entire series on national television. So you'll get a really good glimpse inside how bad he really is. Like, you have to broadcast games objectively on the national level. You cannot be homerized milquetoast. And that's exactly what he is. I'll give Dre Green this. I don't think he cares about anybody but himself. So he's just going to call it like he sees it. That's the way it should be. Call it like you see it, not like you want it. Reggie Miller is a Pacer for life and a Pacer fanatic. So he's going to butcher this like no other. What a pain in the ass he's going to be. I don't even have to guess how bad he's going to be. I already know. He already sucks.
I think that is going to...
Have you ever seen this guy doing games? He cheers for one side every night. I mean, he just picks a side and runs with it.
And you know what side he'll
players on the court in the middle of the game. It's so embarrassing. It really is. It's amateur hour. I don't care what anybody says. I'm right.
I might have went to somebody else for this series, but it's their last series ever on TNT, and they're going out with Reggie doing the games. I think have Van Gundy do it. Stan Van Gundy.
They might as well let Spike Lee do it with him.
Yeah, that'll be, I guess, entertaining for some people if we could get that. There you go. NBA playoffs will start tomorrow night.
What could be worse? I mean, that just ruined my day. Like, I woke up in a good mood. What the hell just happened to my day?
It's all right. Then just wait until they start. It's going to be the whole entire game. Yeah, it's going to be the whole game. At least you could skip the Draymond part if you want. You don't have to completely watch him. There you go, the basketball. All right, how about hockey?
Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey, just like we did earlier. Why don't we start by looking at the big board, as we, just like the NBA, have four teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Dallas, Edmonton, Florida, and Carolina. One of those four will win the Cup this year. That is who we are down to as we get down to the nitty-gritty. How did we get there? How about the Panthers last night? 6-1. They get the win in Toronto after Toronto beat them there Friday night down in Sunrise to force the seventh game, and then it just did not go well. They got it to 3-1 at one point, but then Florida scored almost immediately and never looked back. Luosterainen on TNT really was the shot that I thought put him away.
I wouldn't be opposed to it either, Enzo. Could this be his final game as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Unrestricted free agent Mitch Marner. Score! Marchand, the shot deflected in by Luosterainen. It is now 4-1 Florida.
You know what was the greatest thing I saw last night in that game? It really was. And I'm gonna call it out right now. It was, let me guess, who was that fifth goal? Remember when it was Luosterainen scored, and then like a couple minutes later, 3 minutes later, the guy scored to make it 5-1, and the announcers, it was Eddie and Kenny, and they missed the goal entirely. Like they literally
the Reinhardt goal.
I mean, entirely missed the goal. Like a minute after the goal went in, they scored. And it was a minute after the guy was already on the bench having like Gatorade and body armor. And like teammates were talking to him, and he got a phone call from his wife. They handed him a cell phone, and then Kenny Albert goes, "Hey, they scored." I was like, Jesus Christ, they missed that goal by a minute.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
that's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody, I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times, but screw the Celtics.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn
they've
Ewers.
ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong. It is incorrect.
I told you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing
him
your thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have a
down on a
decent
tape
season. No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback recruits in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
Carver High, you had to have seen it, right? Like they missed the goal.
Yeah. Oh, they missed everything.
They were blabbering. They missed the goal by a minute.
The weirdest part is that that's actually the second time that that's happened in this series, because the game 5, the other game where they killed it, where they beat them up in Toronto, that was the 6-1 game also. The same thing happened, and I think it was ESPN had the game. It wasn't Bob. It was McDonough had the call.
Sean McDonough.
It was Sean, and the same thing happened late in the game when it was like 5 or 6-0. Somebody scored, and it was like the goal didn't even happen, and they just kept talking about whatever they were talking about. So there was a couple blowouts in the series.
I mean, Mike Lang told me. I told you the one thing he told me. Learning how to do play-by-play. He said, never miss a goal.
Never miss a goal.
Never
you
take
never
your
want to
eye
go
off
and do
the
that.
puck. Never miss a goal. Those guys last night, no offense, because I'm friends with both of them, that was embarrassing. They missed that goal by a minute. Like they were talking about something entirely different, and the guy had already skated over and high-fived the whole bench and sat down. And then he goes,
"Oh, they
scored." Oh, it was so bad. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. The worst missed goal I've ever seen last night.
Now, let's get to a few things after the game, because obviously Toronto loses.
And there was silence after they did it, too. They knew how bad they effed it up. Then they stopped talking.
That's the thing. They knew that they knew that they completely were checked out, and they missed everything. This is the 9th straight season that Toronto failed to advance past the second round. Toronto's now lost 7 straight Game 7s. It's been 21,203 days since the Leafs last won the Cup, 7,699 days since they last won a Game 7. Now, the Florida guys last night tried to basically hammer it home as much as they could that this wasn't the same Toronto team. The town is too hard on them. The fans are too hard on them. Everybody. So I got 2 of these here. First, here's Maurice saying that the series was a lot closer than all you people are going to say here in Toronto.
Those games are so tight. The emotion, the build-up to the games.
Game 5
right?
and 7
like
were
when
real
we
tight.
score the first goal, we own the first
right.
10 minutes of the first period. They own the second 10 minutes. That's it. Both teams were. If you flip it, you'd say, "Oh, they came out right." Well, we came out right. They found the answer to come back at us. That's the truth, right? We scored a goal, and then we got those 2, and it's just a puck to the net. It's not so much closer than you think, but you're going to kill these guys, and they don't deserve it. That's 7 games, and we played well. I didn't like our first period in game 1. We played well in the 2 losses.
Listen, everything there was a load of Shaq that he just said. Listen, you do not outscore someone 12-2 in games 5 and 7 and tell me the games were close and that they were in it every period. Like he was just talking, like he was being classy and nice, and it was a load of Shaq is what it was. Just a load of bull Shaq.
It was. Now, what I thought, whether you like Brad Marchand or not, and most people don't like him because he's a pain in the ass to play against, I thought that last night he said some of the most interesting things ever. To hear somebody actually say it out loud, what everybody knows, and that is that the fans in Toronto put way too much pressure on their players and on their organization. Here's Marchand, who's now, by the way, I think it's 5-0 in Game 7s against the Toronto Maple Leafs in his career. He went on for about 10 minutes about how he grew up a Maple Leafs fan, blah, 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 blah. But here's the good stuff, talking about how the city sets them up to fail.
When you win a cup and you play in some of the games that this team played in last year, like these are not high-pressure games. You know, when you're playing for an actual cup and you give up a 3-game lead and then you're in Game 7, like that's a high-pressure game, right? So, you know, in Game 7, the second round, yeah, it's a high-pressure game, but it's not compared to some other games that guys have played. So when you actually look at that, and then when you see the pressure that Toronto faces and you know, everyone's talking about whatever the 20, 30-year build-up, I don't even know what it is, but you see the fans and the way they're talking, like, they just beat the pressure into this team, and it's got to be tough on those guys to walk to the rink every day and not feel that, because I mean, you see the way the fans treat them at the end. Like, how do you not feel that every single day? You know, and when you go through big games, like you realize which are actually big games and which are just, you know, big moments.
Yeah, I agree with everything he just said. Simple as that. By the way, this Finland and Canada in the shootout, it's 1-1, and Finland just scored again, 2-1. So they're up 2-1 on Canada in the shootout, and they just scored twice on the flower. This game's crazy. I mean, crazy.
Here's Austin Matthews, who actually had the stones to stay after the game, that he thought that the Maple Leafs had too many passengers. He had 2 shots on goal, and that was about it.
The group come into this one, Austin.
No, I felt like we were ready to play. I felt like we were, you know, in a good mindset. Like I said, I thought the first, 10 minutes we didn't, they came out strong, and the next 10 minutes I thought we controlled play, and then I just thought we had too many passengers throughout the rest of the game and just weren't on the same page. And they get a couple goals and momentum like that, and then you're chasing the game, and it's hard to get it back. When you're down 3 against a good team that plays sound defensively like them.
So explain to me what he means by too many passengers.
Too many passengers usually means that there wasn't enough guys who were. It's kind of like a nice way of trying to say that there was a lot of guys who weren't bringing it. There were guys who weren't bringing it, is pretty much what he's saying. And Marner agreed with him that there wasn't enough guys who were taking charge of the game. They were kind of just sitting back and waiting for somebody else to go and take the game for them. I think all these guys, Marchand said it perfectly, all these guys, their heads are all messed up playing in that thing. I bet you if you took any of them out of there, and Marner's going to get the chance to go Leaf down, Matthews, Marner, any of them, I bet you their lives would be a lot better. Their lives would be a lot better if they weren't in Toronto anymore playing hockey. That would be my bet.
Yeah, it seems like it's hell to play there.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
that's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times, but screw the Celtics.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never does.
They played side by side with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers.
Ever got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian made very clear the entirety of the time that Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick, Arch Manning is not that good and not deserving of being first overall is asinine. It is wrong.
It is incorrect. He's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm buying
you're doing your thing now where you double down on a take that is incorrect.
The best quarterback prospect to ever hit college football can't play.
He's
over
not
a 7th-round
There were two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterbacks in the history of the sport.
Quinn Ewers couldn't even play at Ohio State. He couldn't even play at Ohio State.
Quinn Ewers, go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
So, the Saros stoned Crosby and then Fertilli, and that was it. The Finns win it 2-1 in the shootout, and that was the first loss for Canada at the Worlds. And they're saying it's Fleury's last game because now they're going to get into these hairy games, these elimination games or whatever. And that'll be the end of Fleury today, is what they're saying. That it's the last game he'll ever play. It was right now, and it was a loss. You can't blame him. In fact, Fertilli, when he shot it, he missed. He went to the backhand and he missed the pipe altogether. Saros never saved it. He flicked it right around by an inch or two wide of the post. So that was that. Finland beats him. Anyway, I want to hear Mitch Marner because we saw him yesterday telling his team to wake the F up, and I thought that was badass on his part because he showed up to play. And let's face facts. Matthews showed up in Game 6 in Sunrise, and I thought he showed up yesterday. But once the game was 3-0, it was over.
Yeah, it was. And basically, we know the deal with Marner now. He is an unrestricted free agent, and people think he's going to leave Toronto. Is he a future Pittsburgh Penguin? Future LA King? Who knows? It sounds like he's definitely going to be somewhere else.
Do you want another shot?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's like I said, it's devastating right now. We had a great year. Everything was going right. It was a great Game 6, and fell short again. And it's tough to really put emotions or anything forward to thinking about future.
Yeah, well, because he's not going to say anything right now until people start offering him boatloads of money to get the hell out of there. If I were him, I would run. I mean, how can you play there and not think at some level this is a pain in my ass? These people, the media, they harass them to the point of they are throwing their jerseys on the ice. And then when the game was over, they were burning them outside. They were burning jerseys one by one outside. I mean, these people, and I'll say this much, they're charged through the nose to go to their games, so fair enough. But they're never happy. They're just a very disgruntled fan base. I don't care what anybody says. They never win, so they're very angry. And they blame the players for everything and the front office. That's all there is to it.
What do you mean, these people? These people. You people. All right, so the Panthers move on, and they will play the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final. They swept them 2 years ago in the East Finals on their way. That was the year they lost to Vegas in the final. Of course, last year they won the Cup. They're minus 125, I've got them at 128 here on the screen, plus 106 for Carolina. They will play Game 1 tomorrow night in Carolina. Carolina has the home ice in this series, and they are minus 125 favorites in Game 1 with a total of 5.5.
I mean, I think that the Canes are going to win Game 1. And there's no way they're getting swept in this series. They're too good. They have it all figured out. I mean, they are clamped down defensive team. They're a deep forecheck wall team. They play in the corners. They dig, they cycle, they play low along the goal line, behind the net, like Gretzky used to. Behind the net, they set up shop. They do everything in deep. They're a really good team, Mike. Any way you slice it, they're going to give the Panthers a series. I'm certain of that. And then I think that at some level, this series with Toronto took a toll on the Panthers for immediate turnaround tomorrow night is crazy.
Right. And I think that that's the biggest thing for tomorrow night. We talk about this a lot in the playoffs. You have one team that hasn't played in almost a week, right? Carolina beat Washington in 5 games. They haven't been playing. And now Florida, whether they beat them 6-1 or not, it was still 7 grueling games that you had to play to get to that end. And then they get the quickest turnaround to then have to go and play Tuesday night. Carolina's got a big opportunity to jump out and hit them here at the beginning of the series. Now, Toronto did it last series, and it didn't matter. Toronto came out and hit them, won the first 2 games at home, and Florida still won 4 out of 5 and beat them. I think Florida wins this series, but I'm with you. I think Carolina's not only going to get them, they got to get them tomorrow night in that Game 1 at home if they're going to have any shot of winning this thing against Florida. We'll come back, and I'll give you the West Side. The West Side, which was the best playoff game of the whole entire weekend, and that was the Stars' overtime winner over Winnipeg on Saturday night. And now they will play another great series, Dallas-Edmonton, in the West Final starting Wednesday.
Still underdogs at home, on the road, and all of these games. It's time for people to start understanding a legitimate team that has a chance not only to win the series against Cleveland, but also maybe even go all the way to the NBA Finals.
I think a lot of the focus has been on why the Cavs have not played particularly well. A lot of that is due to injury, of course, but I think that's taking too much credit away from what the Pacers have done.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and that's long rehab. You're talking
that's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times, but screw the Celtics.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.